Whether we want to coin that as the African dream, I don't know. That the American dream feels broken to a lot of people just because people are, if they get sacked today, by tomorrow they are broke. Because even in the rise of like platforms like GoFundMe and things like that, if I stop, something's gonna break. So I have to just keep going and going. That doesn't sit well with us because of the system that we're coming from. They are staying within the system. They're staying within the lines of the system that they've been given. Same thing for people who are on Section 8, right? Some of them, they don't, and I didn't say all, want to rent for $5,000 a month. Yeah, we can find you something in Ghana for $5,000 a month. It's not impossible. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so in today's video, I want us to talk about the American dream. Now, lots of people, especially Ghanaians, they have this notion that if they can just make it to America, all their problems that they have in all the world are going to be solved, because America is a place where dreams are birthed, amazing things happen. It's a worldwide notion, right? Everybody knows about the American dream. The reason I'm not talking about UK is because there's no such thing as the UK dream. Like, nobody cares about the UK like that, you know? So we're going to focus on the American dream. Now, I'd say that most people have been sold this thing that is the American dream. Whether or not it is an actual thing or not, I guess we can talk about that. But really, the American dream is having this amazing lifestyle. America is full of opportunities. It gives you access to so many things. And that's what people chase, right? Even those are even within America. They believe in the American dream. I'm not saying everybody, so just please, just keep your comments, right? I'm not saying everybody. But on the whole, in general, people do believe in this notion of having the American dream and whatever that means to them, right? Now, the reason that I'm talking about it today is because I want to discuss whether or not the American dream is still alive. Okay, because so many people are chasing it, but I feel like the world has changed so much. Does the American dream really still exist for us? Or is it just something that we have just bought into and are just continuing to run with it without actually reassessing what the American dream means? Okay, so first of all, what is the American dream? So the American dream is, you know, you have your car, you have a house, you have your job, you have financial stability, you have access to healthcare, you have all the good things that you need in life in order for you to function as a human being, as a person, and just live this fulfilled life. That's what the American dream is about. Yes, you can get in other countries, but we're focusing on the American dream today. As the world continues to change, people are now starting to look outside of America. We've seen it where we've seen an influx of people moving from the US and wanting to come to Africa, Ghana in particular, right? Ghana is kind of like the gateway to being able to explore all of Africa. Ghana is definitely highlighted right now. Okay, so I feel like the American dream is kind of shifting right now, where people are feeling like, hold on, there's something more than what is being presented to us as the American dream. There is more to life than what is happening here. And so people are looking into Ghana and wondering what their life could be like and exploring a different type of dream, which is not the American dream. Whether we want to coin that as the African dream, I don't know. But that's kind of the shift that's taking place right now. So people are moving from the States and from other Western cultures and moving to Africa to seek out a better lifestyle for themselves. Now, I don't know, I guess everybody's idea as to what an amazing lifestyle is going to be different. But if I speak in general terms, I would say that the lifestyle that people crave right now is the lifestyle of one that represents freedom, peace, actually living life rather than just working and living paycheck to paycheck, but actually being able to explore the world and explore their people's actual passions, right? Rather than getting stuck in this 9-to-5 job or whatever it is, however many hours it is that you work a day, right? People want to see what else is out there. They're realizing that, you know what, actually, I don't have to wait until retirement to enjoy some things. I can actually do something with my life today to make an impact for tomorrow. And so people are seeking that more so than just staying in this bubble of the American dream. And so Africa seems to be a good place to start if that's what you are exploring. Right. So right now, I would say that the American dream feels broken to a lot of people just because rising costs, people are living paycheck to paycheck. I feel like the American dream was sold in a way where it's like there's an element of freedom in it. And so now where that element of freedom doesn't necessarily exist, it's getting harder for people. So people are waking up to the fact that the American dream is not actually all that it is made out to be. So when you look at the cost of living, right? People are living paycheck to paycheck. They're no longer having savings that they can rely on and think that, okay, well, I have this savings, this is my backup. That's not happening for people. Most people right now, if you do the research, most people are, if they get sacked today, by tomorrow, they are broke because we don't have the ability to save with the rising costs, right? Things are so expensive. Housing, trying to purchase a car and trying to stay on top of all these different bills that are given to us, because what's happening is the cost of living is going up, but wages are not going up in comparison. And so we're having this uneven level happening where people are having to stretch more and more and more to be able to pay their bills. And, you know, their wages are just simply not covering it. So a lot of people now are looking into side hustles, other business opportunities that they can perhaps explore. But, you know, being able to work a second job doesn't necessarily work for everybody, especially, for example, if you're a single mom or, you know, you just don't have the hours, you have children to look after, you've got other responsibilities. Being able to say, okay, I'm going to pick up a second or a third job is not necessarily going to work for you. But not only that, that's not what you want. You want to be able to work so that you have a particular lifestyle, so you have a particular shot at freedom, whatever that means to you. And so that is where it feels shattered. That's where the American dream feels shattered now, because everything just feels overstretched. Same as in the UK, everybody is overstretched right now. If you stop working tomorrow, you're pretty much finished. Most people don't have 6 months worth of savings in order to be able to function if anything was to happen. Most people, if they lose their jobs today, it's pretty much over for them. They don't know what they're going to do next. That's the issue that people are having. And that is not a place that most people want to be. It's a very scary situation to be in. You know, things like healthcare, education are becoming very, very expensive. I think in America and in the UK, we are fortunate that we don't necessarily have to pay for those things unless you want to put your child into private school. But it's nice to be able to have those options. But for most people, those options have been wiped away because they simply just cannot afford it. So even when it comes to healthcare, I know I've heard people complain about the NHS in the UK right now, where it's like, you know, you're joining this very, very long queue. You can barely even see your GP anymore. You can barely even get hospital appointments. You can barely get treatment if you're sick. And these are things that were part of the dream that we were sold in the West, right? The American dream is that you have access to all these things. So God forbid you should ever get sick, you have something to lean on. And it's not necessarily like that right now, okay? Even if you happen to have health insurance, right? It will cover for you a part, but it won't cover you for everything. And therefore, again, you're having to think about savings or what you can do in certain situations. And most people just simply cannot afford it. If they get sick, it's an issue. They don't know what they're going to do. You can see it even in the rise of like platforms like GoFundMe and things like that. Some people can't even bury their family members when their family members pass away because they simply don't have any type of disposable income anymore. Disposable income for most people now is just out of the way. That just doesn't exist. And so that's why people are looking to other countries where the cost of living is lower, because then they feel that, you know what, now we have a shot at perhaps being able to live something that feels like a good quality of life rather than continuously struggling and feeling like we're on this hamster wheel. I know for me, when I was in the UK, it very much felt like a hamster wheel. Like if I stop, something's going to break. So I have to just keep going and going. And, you know, sometimes we don't even realize that we're even on this hamster wheel until we get off. And that's why when you go from the West and you come to Ghana, it's so difficult to slow down because we don't know what slowing down feels like. We don't understand it anymore because we've got so used to running at such a speed that when it comes to slowing down, it feels like you're stopping. You're almost being lazy. that is the adjustment period that people struggle with when they come here. I know I definitely did. That whole slower pace of moving. I'm like, like, I have 10 things on my to-do list to do today. Why am I not being able to get 10 things done today? You may only get 2 or even 1 thing done. And that doesn't sit well with us because of the system that we're coming from, where everything is fast-paced. It's go, go, go. You've got to get this done today before you can go to sleep. That way of living doesn't live in Ghana here. Everything is so much slower. And so getting over that hurdle is a big one for people when they come here, because it's a completely different change of lifestyle for them. A lot of us in the West, again, I did a video where I talked about, there's zero credit system in Ghana. For us in the West, everything is pretty much credit. You can buy literally anything on credit. If you want to get an iron, you can buy it on credit if you need to get it on credit, 3 payments, put it on layaway, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? There are forms of credit that we have access to that enables us to continue to live our lives, but there's a hook of that, because now you can't do certain things. Yes, you have access to be able to, I can go out and purchase a car tomorrow and say, yes, I've got this brand new car that I'm driving and it looks good. It looks good to the outside world. Those that don't know your financial situation pretty much can't really tell what your financial situation, because you have all these amazing things. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to now being able to do things that you want, like go on holiday and having all these amazing things, right? You can't necessarily do it because you have all this debt. For some people, they can't even leave the West and come to Ghana because of the debt that they have. They know that if they come to Ghana, they still have to be able to afford those debts that they've got. And it's like, if you don't have some type of way that you're still earning while you're here and not just living on savings, how do you continue to maintain those debts that you have in the West? It's going to be very, very difficult. So it's like you get stuck in this system. It's a system that they have designed where it's like, stay here, live within this bubble that we've given you, okay? We'll keep you comfortable, but you can't come out of it. Or it's definitely not going to be easy for you to come out of it. We're going to make it hella hard for you. And that's what is happening. So people are caught in this bubble where it's like, if I go, what I'm going to, how am I going to manage? What is going to happen here? Even for me, when I was leaving the UK, a lot of people were like, hold on, but if you leave, remember, you're going to give up your benefits. What about, child benefit? You've got all these kids, your access to child benefit, that's going to stop. Are you willing to walk away from that? These are systems put in place to hold you in a particular position. Because even when it comes to things like child benefit in the UK, right? Once you start earning above a certain amount, you're no longer entitled to child benefit again. So it's like, okay, let me stay here. Let me stay below the threshold. Let me not try to earn any more, because if I earn any more, it's actually going to be a disadvantage for me, because now I'm going to lose out on all this child benefit. And what I feel like I've gained in earning a little bit more, maybe I'm earning an extra £500 a month by, doing this additional job or this promotion that I've got. But now I'm going to lose £1,000 worth of child benefit. So now I'm £500 worse off. So I'm not going to try and strive for anything better for me. I'm going to stay where I am because it's more beneficial for me. Again, I gave the example before where people stay on benefits. They stay on benefits for a reason, because it's easier for them. It's easier for them because they're going to earn less if they go out into the work field. Same thing for people who are on Section 8, right? Some of them, they don't, and I didn't say all, please, I didn't say all. Some people don't want to go out and do certain things, because if they do, the state will no longer look after them anymore. And so they are staying within the system. They're staying within the lines of the system that they've been given, okay? They won't allow the man to be in the home, because if they do, once a man is in the home, you're no longer entitled to certain benefits anymore. So that's what's causing broken families. And when you have broken families, you can't excel. The family unit is there for a reason, right? Because 2 people heading up a household is better than 1 person struggling to do it. How do you do certain things as a single parent? How do you take your children to school, pick them up from school while working a full-time job? It's made difficult for you. You're going to have to think about some type of after-school childcare. Now that's cutting into your finance. Whereas if you have 2 people, there's a bit more flexibility in there. There's things that you can do. But we have, in the West, the system has been created against us to not make us prosper, but to stay within the lines that we've been given, and so that we don't step out of it. Now we don't want to step out of it. So although we are hearing things like, oh, go back to Africa, do this, do that. They know a lot of people, they can't just get up and go back to Africa. Or they won't just get up and go back to Africa because they are stuck within the system, and the system doesn't allow them to have the freedom of movement that they need to have. And for most people, if you try to say, okay, go back to Africa, for them to pick up and go back to Africa, they're going to pretty much have to start from ground zero. They don't have anything. How do you get a house? How do you get a car? How do you even rent somewhere if you don't have your savings in order? It's not possible. So you remain stuck. You remain stuck in this American dream that they have sold you. And so you're continuously fighting to make it and make something better of yourself. But really, you're not getting anywhere. It's like you're climbing up a wall, but you actually can't. You can never get to the top because you're going to be continuously dragged down. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. And so you're not really getting anywhere. You're just stuck in this hamster wheel. You know, the reason that Africa, or Ghana in particular, is so appealing to people right now is that it gives you the opportunity to have access to things where it would be so difficult to do in the West. For example, acquiring land. How easy is it to acquire land? Now, I'm not saying, you know, getting land in Ghana is simply straightforward. You just pick a plot and that's yours and there's no issues. Yes, we know there are issues surrounding, you know, if you buy land in the wrong way, there are things that can go wrong. But your ability to be able to purchase a plot of land, you can purchase a plot of land. $5,000 will get you a plot of land. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas $5,000, which plot of land are you going to get in the States or in the UK? If you're lucky, you might be able to purchase a garage for a couple of years, maybe, but you ain't getting a plot of land for that unless it's somewhere that nobody else wants, nobody cares about, no one has any interest in it. Even that, you're still going to struggle. Plots of land don't go like that. So by coming to Ghana, you have access to things that you wouldn't be able to have access to in the West because it's not going to happen for you. It's unattainable to you there. Whereas Ghana, because the cost of living is so much further down, you are able to create these things for you. So once you can have a plot of land, you can have your own house. You can build a business. You can attain certain things. You can feel like you are living. You can grow your own food. We don't have those restrictions. In the UK, we are not allowed to catch rainwater. It's illegal to catch rainwater. You cannot put a bucket outside and catch the rain that falls from the sky because it belongs to the government. I don't know if it's the same in the States. Let me know in the comment section if it is or not. But in Ghana, it's a free-for-all. Who's going to stop you from catching rainwater? We do it here all the time. Some people don't have pipe water, so they catch rainwater. They let the water settle all the dust at the bottom, and they use the water at the top to wash their clothes, to bath with, to do all the things that they want to do. We have certain freedoms like that here that we don't have access to in the West. Yes, there's no credit here, but there are other things. We can overlook certain things when it comes to moving to Ghana because they are minute in what we gain in comparison to what we gain. You know, we can even look at business opportunities here, right? In Ghana, it's not saturated yet. And the beautiful thing about those of us coming from the West is that we have foresight. We always talk about how, oh gosh, you know, hindsight is amazing, is an amazing thing. If only I knew about this. Oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. You have a chance when you come to Ghana because all the things that you've seen in the West that have worked, you can come and bring it here because Ghana is not saturated. The business market is not saturated in the same way. You can take the things that you've seen in the West and apply them to Ghana. Not everything. Some things you can take and apply here, and you can create a successful business for yourself because it hasn't been done here. The exposure of the West has not happened here yet. So that's why if you're early into a business, you can clean up and make a lot of money because that opportunity is there. You can't do that in the West. You want to open up a boutique. You have dreams of becoming this top designer, and so that's what you want to open up in the West. You're gonna have the competition for that is so high. There are people that have made names for themselves. People are not looking at you. Who are you? Where have you come from? Like, what is your history? That you have to have certain things. Whereas Ghana, it's a free-for-all market. You want to do that here? You've come from nowhere. All it takes is for you to create one amazing design that someone picks up on that absolutely loves, and you've got it. That's it. Then you have eyes on you now. People are looking at you. Regardless of whether you have a background in fashion or being able to make clothes, whatever it is, that is not going to break the back of the idea. Whether you have that background or not, you have the opportunity to create that business here because the market is so fluid. It's opened. The market is open for you to create whatever you want to do here. And that's the amazing thing. That is why the Ghana dream or the African dream is now becoming a thing for many people. You know, food, labor is so much cheaper here than it is in the West. You can buy local food here and you can live off a small fraction of what you were living on in the West because of the way that you can eat locally homemade grown foods here. You know, if you want to eat like the West, it's going to be expensive, right? But you're still going to save because of access to food here is so much cheaper. Things are cheaper, like I've said, even rental. You know, unless you are one of these people, I want to rent for $5,000 a month. Yeah, we can find you something in Ghana for $5,000 a month. It's not impossible. We could definitely do it. Whereas in the States or in the UK, $5,000 a month for a property is not... It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing that. Whereas in Ghana, if you tell someone you're paying $5,000 a month for rent, they're going to look at you like you're a crazy person. Like, are you stupid? Like, why would you do that? Whereas if you tell someone in the West, I pay $5,000, yeah, it's a little bit expensive. But you know what? It's not unheard of. It's not unheard of. You're not the only person. Like, it's not the end of the world, you know. So that's the kind of comparison that we're looking at. If you come to Ghana, you don't have to do that. You can get a much cheaper place to rent, which is, you know, decent. I'm not going to say we still have work to do in that area. So I'm not even going to say you can get a really nice place for $1,000 because it's going to be kind of average, but it's going to be okay. Do you know what I'm saying? We still have work to do, and where we still have work to do, that's where the opportunity is. So you should never knock the fact that Ghana still has a way to go in certain things because that's where your business opportunity comes from. For those of us in the diaspora, we have access to these amazing things, and we have the opportunity to become debt-free, and that is what is beautiful. Most people lie awake at night and cannot sleep because of the debts that they have, the huge amounts of stress that they have to be able to maintain the lifestyle that they have created for themselves. And that leaves people just not feeling good about things. Whereas when you come to Ghana, you can get rid of all of that. Yes, you may still have to pay off some debts, but you have more of an opportunity to be able to clear them while you're here than you do while you're in the States. And when you're able to do that, you get access to debt-free living. How many of us can say that we are debt-free? It's not many people, and unless you are fortunate enough to have had an amazing job that, you know, or you've never ever taken on debt, you've made the conscious decision to never ever have debt, then that's great. But for the majority of people, we have debt, and so we don't have the opportunity to ever experience what debt-free living is like. Whereas when you come to Ghana, you have a shot at what that is going to look like for you. What does debt-free living look like? What is it going to feel like to you? What opportunities is going to be birthed just because you now are able to be debt-free? It opens up access to so many things. Now you can travel in freedom. You can take that holiday that you've never been able to take. You can go on that cruise because you don't have these debts that are hanging over you anymore. You have access to life, like real life. I always say when you come to Ghana, you can actually live life. You're not just going through the motions. You actually have time to sit down and think about the things that you actually want to do with your life, and not just be in this be on an escalator where you're just going and going and going and you don't know what your end destination is. It's not like that anymore. You no longer have to wait for retirement in order to feel like you've lived a fulfilled life. You don't have to wait till 65 plus before you can enjoy. If you're smart, you can start enjoying your 30s, your 40s. You can enjoy a great lifestyle just by being in Ghana. You know, and I want to also balance this video by saying that Ghana is not a perfect place, right? You've seen my other videos. Ghana is definitely not a perfect place. So I don't want to paint a fully rosy picture for you because we have challenges here, right? There are challenges when it comes to infrastructure. There are challenges in setting things up, getting things done can be very slow. So we have things here that are frustrations. But when you weigh the benefits to what is potentially going to frustrate you, Ghana wins for me personally, hands down, every single time. It really does, because of the opportunities that it affords us when we are here. And so you have to look at it, the whole picture properly, okay? So Ghana has its issues, but it has such great benefits to being here also. So I would say that the American dream doesn't exist anymore. It does exist, but it's not what we think it was. It's not in the same way as how we saw it many years ago. The American dream has changed for a lot of people. It's no longer about what you can just accomplish financially and the things that you can have access to, like the healthcare system, which are all those things are wonderful, but it's not just about that. It's a lot more than that now. For a lot of people now, the American dream, or the dream in general, wherever that may be for you, whatever continent, whatever country, wherever that is for you, the dream is more about living a life of freedom, having peace, being your best self. That is what is happening now. It's not based on just a monetary situation anymore. It's now based on how you feel about yourself and the things that you can do that make you feel good internally. It's about peace over financial ability, I guess. So the whole thing has moved from financial success to freedom, peace, and belonging for a lot of people. And so that's why I believe that the American dream is no longer alive in the same way that it was. Of course, there are going to be people that still want to have that American dream in the way that it was presented to them, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But for the majority of people, they want something more, because we all know that money is not the money is not the be all and the end all of everything, right? It's about living with purpose, and it's about being able to do things that make us feel good as people. And so that's where I'm going to end the video. I'm interested to know what you guys think about what I've said today. Have you ever thought about it before? What does the American dream look like for you? Do you feel like what you thought the American dream was originally has changed now? Is Ghana something that you are now looking at as your American dream? Has that now become your Ghana dream? Let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Nutifafa.